Thank you. You don't have to call me sir. It's all right. I'm audible, first of all.
Yeah, so
Okay, yeah. You can drop the sir. I don't really go well with hearing that word is not. Yeah, but just call me Anirudh if it's fine by you. You can drop the sir. But yeah, that's all right. Um, is there something I should be talking about right now? So sorry, all of this is pretty new for me. Not something that I do daily. So I'll just answer whatever questions you have. Go ahead.
yeah, so the first question, how are you?
I'm pretty good. Sunday. Can't be doing pretty bad. Yeah,
You're
it's pretty
having
good.
a chill time.
Yeah, yeah. Right now I'm alone at home, so yeah. Probably going for a movie later, but yeah, pretty good right now.
So good to see you here, and we are happy to have you here to share to listening many career insights, the career opportunities. So it is very inspiring to see you the journey from the Gayatri Vidya Parishad College to the Microsoft. It's been an incredible journey. So we are looking forward to gain more knowledge from you.
Sure. Whatever questions you have, feel free to shoot.
Yeah, so are you completely all right? You're feeling comfortable with all this?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay, so let's go into it. I think
Mhm.
Shashank, is everything okay regarding? Yeah, good. Okay, so firstly, with immense anxiousness or curiousness, I want to know firstly, the first step in your life is the BTech journey. So
Yeah.
as we are all the juniors for to you, so how was your the first step that you entered into the college gate, RGVP college gate? So what was your thought?
But first up, I thought it was a very small college. I expected it to be bigger because the first time I went to Gayatri, it was the other one, the one near the beach, or Shikondo one. I expected that this one will be as big as well. And then as soon as I entered the gate, I was pretty disappointed. I was expected to be much bigger. But yeah, are we just talking visually? I think the college is pretty cool. I got into university pretty late because I was interviewing for NDA, National Defense Academy, and that didn't pan out well. So I decided to join Gayatri instead. And by the time we were already through half the semester, of half the first semester. So more than surprised, I was a bit more anxious because I had a lot of catching up to do for all the assignments, all the subjects, and I think one of the exams was pretty close. I forgot how to we had like two exams every semester before we did the final one,
Yeah,
and one of
we
them
have
was
different
pretty close.
examinations.
Yeah, one of them was pretty close, and M1 was one of it. So I was like very clear. I was more stressed than I was before I got time to actually breathe into the college. But yeah, that's my first time in Guthrie.
Yeah, that's a very common story that every student will have in their life. It is a self doubt, and what the career that lead to us. So that the college will act as the bridge. So of course, I agree with it. And coming to the memories, what could be the best memory that you can share with us that you have in your college days?
Mm, I don't know. There used to be a hostel outside Gayatri College boundaries. I don't know what was. I forgot his name. Is it still there? Like there used to be mess downstairs. Uh,
Yeah, it's Dwarka, my food court,
oh,
Saint Joseph.
the one right in front of outside the Trinity Gate. Sorry, not outside the GP Gate.
Yeah, so we still have that.
Okay, it used to be called something else. I forgot the name. It was not that. I for sure I know that's not it. But yeah, I think my best memories were there. Like during the recess, we would just go there with my friends, and we just have food or we just chill around. Some of them used to live there, so if we had any assignments due in the second half, we would just go to their place and do assignments there. So that was pretty cool. Part of uh, one of the coolest memories I had from GP.
And coming to the academics, so
Mhm.
we all put into a propaganda that the assignments or the mid examinations or the some examinations, the CGPA will matter the most, and it will impact the career. So many students think that CGPA is the most important thing right now.
Hmm.
So how did the academics, that I've seen that you are the IT, you are from IT branch. So how did your academics impact your career? Does it help or does it just like for an exam?
So if you ask me, that's a very, I would be probably not a good person to ask this, but to be honest, like when I was in undergrad, I was like pretty renegade. I would never, I think the reason half my scores were as bad because I straight up refused to do the assignments. As I don't want you to guys to take that as an example, but I think I haven't submitted a lot of the assignments. So whatever score I had to pull, I would just pull it from examinations and the final exams. So I somehow ended up at 8.2. I could have done better if I did submit assignments, but I was too lazy to be bothered by it. And I was living pretty far. Like I forgot where it's near one for here. So traveling from there and back, it was like 2 hours or 3 hours a day. It was just gone. So like I'm too tired to deal with assignments anymore. But to be practically speaking, in terms of career, I don't think it matters. Like no one's looking at your GPA. I personally, like when I was in Stratbeans, I hired few people from GVP who would be your seniors when you're yeah like 1 or 2 years younger than me, and I have never looked at GPA. At least me as a like when I used to like shortlist who to even interview. So I've like interviewed people across in GP. I've like interviewed people in LPU and Amity, and I don't think I've ever bothered with things like their score or GPA. I usually look at projects and how they're done. I probably like if you're good at like things like neat code or lead code, I think that would be way better for you in terms of career our projects. Something interesting that you have to talk about when you're talking with an interviewer. Score itself, no one's even going to ask you about it, so there's no point. But given the fact that score is not important, it's very important that you build your fundamentals pretty well. Like you should know how operating systems work, how computer networking work. If you think that doing a certain assignment would help you deepen that understanding, I would say go for it. But if you're just doing it for sake of it, you're like copying off someone else's assignment. I would say like whatever, it doesn't even matter. But yeah, I think the fundamentals are very important, especially when it comes to operating system, Linux, whatever you want to call it, and data structures, algorithms, because that's the kind of things you might be working with, or that's the kind of things you would be like probably at least be asked in the interview. So yeah, for assignments, personally, no, I barely did anything. I was way more focused on things like competitive programming back in when I was an undergrad. So there are like a lot of opportunities to compete with people in your university and across the universities. Like we had this one competition which is called shit, I forgot the name, Code Champs, I think. I don't know if it's still there. They probably did it once. I don't know if they ever repeated it. It's called Code Champs, where like all the universities in Andhra Pradesh were competing, and I think uh, yeah, I distinctly don't remember. I think it's the placement board who was holding it. Like every college's placement board was holding it. So we had multiple levels, like within the college, then within the district, and within the state. Finally, I don't know if you guys still have that, but that is just one example. You probably also have TCS Code Vita. So yeah, I was well, I was not aiming for these in general, but I was just practicing or just doing coding stuff in general. Like I was working in startups when I was still in undergrad and during summertime, and just working on random projects that I found interesting.
Present, we have many coding platforms, many coding competitive exams like we can say Hack with Infi, Code
Mm,
Vita, and Walmart Code House. So there are a lot of exams for the competitive exams right now. So what would
mm,
you tell to the students how to perform in the competitive exams, how to grab the opportunities in the competitive exams that they are the national-wide exams, right? So
mm.
how would you tell that the confidence that gave you to the person who are you today? So, what would you tell to the students to perform in the competitive exams?
Well, like it's just about practice. Like that Code Vita wouldn't be the first time I actually did it, like a coding exam in general. I've been practicing it for like 2 years. So it doesn't matter. Even if you take it up for 3 or 4 months, you can, I think easily you can crack these exams. Like, don't even in 3 or 4 months. If you know how to write code, if you can translate your ideas to code, you should be fine with at least looking at the code and being able to answer it. I feel like just from these exams point of view, you can just practice lead code or neat code. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, neat code 150. That is basically some guy just boiled down all the lead code questions to 150 questions. And you could just practice that. That's what I personally practiced for interviews. But back then, I used to do a lot more. We didn't even have lead code back then. So we're just practicing Code Chef and stuff like that. But I would say like just practice every day. That you should be good enough. Try to solve problem within a span of 30 minutes. It shouldn't be that difficult. I've never found things like thesis could be that difficult. Me and I was in my year. There's one other guy. I think both of us scored around 150 rank in code vita. You know.
So, by practicing all these coding problems or performing in the competitive exams, so how did you manage? Like, what did you have any strategy of managing the academics and the codings and the projects, internships? So there is a hectic time in the third year and fourth year, right? So,
Yeah.
what strategy did you follow to manage all this, like the time management or the priority
Mhm.
list?
Fair. Well, as I said, like I was not really inclined to. I don't know if I should be saying this. Are there like teachers in here? But yeah, I was just not inclined to doing much assignments. I was not bothered by whatever score I get. I would just do it. I was fine with whatever score I get. As long as I passed the exam, I was more than fine with it. So I had like plenty of time left to coding, but I was still, because I grew up in a household where score mattered a bit. I was still like trying very hard for exam. I would like go really hard into last week, a week before exam, try to do as much as I can. And even for assignments, some teachers were strict that they want the assignments, so they wouldn't even let you sit in the exam. They were pretty annoying like that. I would just, sit with a friend and ask them to just, show them their assignments, and I would just copy it. I guess that's what everyone else is doing. I hope, or still, I don't know if you guys still do that, or you're too nice. But yeah, that's what we used to do. Yeah, so the answer is it is indeed very difficult to balance both the academics and these. So you have to pick and choose. Academics, to be honestly speaking, wouldn't help you much past your undergrad. You can just tell you got this GPA, and you could be working call center jobs, and no one's gonna pat your back for it. So pick what you want to choose. That's what I say.
From the session, just a fun fact I'm asking that did you give
Mhm.
any assignments to the juniors or you're the person who prepared for one night batting on the semester exams? So how did you manage?
So as I said, I never liked the idea of giving assignments to the juniors. It feels like uh, I would rather just not do it than give it to someone else, to pass my burden to someone else because they have things to do as well. I don't think I should have a right to take over their time. It's up for them. So no, I would never give my assignments to someone else, but I would just choose to not do it. And if there was some assignment which was like very important to do, I would just take some time out for it. I would just produce the most minimum viable project is what I would call it, just for presentation. Enough that they would at least let me sit for exams or not bother me much. I wouldn't care. Like even if I get a C or D on it, who cares? But yeah, I would pass it to junior.
Of course, the another section which is important in our BTech journey is the friend circle.
Yeah.
So we meet lot of friends, we make lot of friends, but there are a lot of friendship breakups, there are relationship breakups, and of course in this Gen Z generation, students right now are facing many depression issues related to other activities rather than concentrating on the career. So what would you tell to them to concentrate in the right way? Going in the right way is more important to achieve something.
Well, I mean, these are a pretty deep topic for me, but in general, from my observation, what I've seen, like the people I graduated with, except for one or two, there's not many we still talk to each other. Like once you start doing your job, you won't have the same friends, you won't have same girlfriend, you won't have the same boyfriend. Like it would change. The work changes you. The especially when you have the pressure of earning money, paying taxes, paying rent, and the only time that will be like left for you is just the weekends. And once you are out on Saturday, you're too tired to do anything on Sunday. You wouldn't be so much stressed about friendship as you are with life. So at least you want to make sure that that one Saturday is a very good Saturday. And the only way to do that is to earn enough to spend on Saturdays. So I would say focus on job. Trust me, like there are people who are like very, how do you say it? Didn't care much about studies or programming or anything in general. Now I see their LinkedIn, they're doing pretty well. Like even though they were like barely passing during their undergrad, now they seem to be doing very good. I think at some point in time, even if you're not interested in studies, you're going to learn your lessons and you would turn around. But it's up to you. Like if you want to realize it later, you will be starting your career way later than other people. To be honest, I don't really judge it. Like, it's fine if you discover yourself somewhere down the line later. It's totally fine if you're not interested in studies right now. It might happen, but circumstances might change, and might be more interested later. So yeah.
That was so motivating. Hope this finds
Sorry, you're not
good, good.
audible. Yeah,
Am
yeah.
I audible?
You're not audible. Yeah,
Am I audible?
yeah.
Yeah. So this would be motivator to many of the juniors who are present right now. And another question I really want to ask is any incident or any situation in your life that has impacted you so much that has changed you as a person to grow in your career or as a personal or professional in.
Oh, well. Um, how should I say this? Let me think of a better way to phrase it. Well, due to some incident, I decided to just lock in to just programming, and I wanted to make best out of it. Like it was like things like making money for family, and I'm not really gonna go into personal details of the incident. It's not even an incident. It's just college life. You make friends, you lose friends, you make relationship, you lose relationships. So yeah, something drove me really hard to go into the study, like just to succeed as much as I can or whatever else uh, I can grab. And yeah, the only thing I cared about was just getting as good in competitive programming because back then, or even should be now, like the only way to get into good company or even into big tech is how good you perform in these things or in your, you know, projects. So I was very much locked into that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can talk much about it without going into specifics. But yeah.
And what's the challenge that you face during the college placements or the campus interviews or the
Right.
off-campus placements?
Well, to be honest, I just sat down in college placement just for fun. I didn't really care about the placements. Back then, I was way younger and I was very rude to people, and I shouldn't have done that. Not that I bit older, but yeah, back then I sat down for Value Labs. They offered me some position. That is the first company which came when I was in, sitting for placements. And they asked me, like, I think I was one of the 6 or 7 candidates who actually qualified for it. And they asked me if I wanted to join, and I straight up refused. And I was like, I'll probably easily find better pay somewhere else. Like, I don't know if you've seen our well labs how they show their salary. They're like 20 lakhs per annum, but it's like first year's 4, then next year's 5, and it's 30 or something. And they combine everything together and they claim it as per annum, which is false. But yeah, never interested in that. Then I set for obviously set for TCS. The reason I wouldn't personally sit for TCS, or even like Infosys, the only reason I did sit for them was because of the TCS Code Vita, and they were offering. I was sitting for the higher pay band. So basically, if I remember, I don't know if it still holds up, but everyone who has the rank less than 10,000 in Code Vita gets. I think I should have forgot the name. What they used to call. There's a separate power programmer. No, that's Infosys. Something that some band for.
Specialist engineer and specialist programmer and then power programmer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That. So I just sat down for that because yeah, they offered actually decent pay grade. So I was like, okay, if I'm gonna sit for TCS, it's gonna be one of those. So yeah, it was back in Hyderabad, and even I qualified that too. And the first remark I got from like was back then, Miss Harney was the not the HOD, but very important member of computer science. I don't know if she's still there. She called me into the office and she was like, "This is the first time that we ever heard from people in TCS a negative review about us, but they told us that you are very arrogant." And to be honest, I don't really remember and being arrogant or anything, but I don't know if they felt that. I don't care. Well, yeah, but as I said, I was just sitting in a college placement just for I wanted to like prepare. I wanted to use that as my preparation platform to learn how to interview. I didn't have interviewed before, but I wanted to sharpen my skills. So I was just using it as a stepping stone rather than just them being my final goals. Through some luck, I got into Stratbeans. It's a long story. Like back then, there was this thing called this mission R&D, and there I met a mentor, and he like referred me into Franklin Templeton, and the guy who was mentoring me there referred me into Stratbeans. They all three of them were good friends, so it was just like going on in circles, and then I finally landed up in Stratbeans. So I would say that is a good experience, but yeah. Sorry, I've been talking so long. I actually lost track of the question which was asked. What is the question again?
Challenges you faced in the interviews or
Ah,
campus placements.
well, the challenges in the placement itself, like in the college placements, were just, I guess, um, I guess the kind of companies or things that they made us do, and for like they had aptitude test for a lot of the exams. A lot of the companies, I personally didn't care. And are you sure there are no teachers here? Okay, but I think the teachers themselves were a huge pain in the ass than anything else. But well, not pain in the ass. Like they were trying to like keep the best image for college, and they wanted to make sure they present the best version of college. And I was a bit more focused on myself, so I think that kind of didn't go well. For me, personal identity matters a bit more. And in a company which, like huge companies, especially where you are more expected to conform to what is the standard, that would probably never fit with my DNA. And I think that's the DNA that we have in college as well. Uh, Sorry, just a sec. How do I turn this off? So yeah, those were my primary challenges. As for off campus, I don't think I ever had any challenge. I think if you're good at problem solving in general, it should be pretty easy for you guys.
Yeah, so the journey from the 2016 to 2020 is a phase. But
Mm.
when you joined in the Stratbeans from 2020 to 2023, so there is a
Yeah.
shift in your life. Like the college environment is full of fun, adventurous, anxiousness, learning things and everything. So suddenly
Yes.
from the college life to the industry, so going a shift towards the industry. So what made you change as a person? What is the experience that you had during the office hours?
So 2020 was when Corona hit, so everyone was working from home. So I primarily just worked from home for the entire duration I worked at Stratbeans. And what changed, I would say, is like because Stratbeans was a startup. Like if you compare to MNCs where you have like regular 9 to 5, the time there was not like this is a startup. You're expected to work uh, till like you get something done. The measure of time is more in like how much you get done, not just 9 to 5. So there's been like times when I was working till 9, 8, 10, and that's why they pay more startups. Like I think that's a general startup culture, and didn't even see when like 2 years or 3 years just went by. Like in a matter of seconds. And I didn't feel like I did anything in those 3 years. I could have work in the startups. So, yeah, time definitely goes by pretty quickly. You gain some weight and you don't even realize when you gain that. And yeah, because of Corona, we were just sitting at home, so you just grow more just staying in there. I think it's better if you go to like office, even if you not go to office, even if you get work from home. I would say it's better if you just in at least in the city, so you can meet more friends and live out your 20s. That's more important. Like the 20s are not going to come again, and this part of life is very important that you make memories and friends. So that's the one primary thing that I would say changed me, that I didn't get to live that, and now I'm trying to live out during this part of my life. I'm just trying to make friends, go out as much as I can. So you have more time for it. So I would say definitely take it. Don't job emergencies, like emergency in jobs would always be there, but always make sure that you make enough memories every year, that you don't look back at a year and be like, hey, what did I even do last year? There shouldn't be such years. I mean,
Main doubt every student right now in the first year to fourth year is having is the only doubt they have is their what is the goal of them. Like many people from the first year they think they would go to the software, and in the second year they'll say they'll write the gate exams, and third year they'll say the government exams, and fourth year again coming to the software, sitting in the placements. So there
yeah.
is no clarity for the students right now, because from post COVID we are having a recession towards the software solutions. So
Mm,
people are more not confident to get into the software. And
mm,
also, writing the government exams can be challenging because there is a lot of competition, as you all know.
yeah.
So, what would you tell to the students in the first year to like? Do you suggest any roadmap to prepare a goal for them, or what would you tell to the students in the first year?
Well, if you're in first year, you're still kind of very malleable. Like there are things which you can like make your goal and just drive toward it. That's what at least it was for me when I was just logged in for programming and things in general. But it is very fine that you change your ideas every now and often. People change, like even people who have been in industry after 5 or 10 years, and they feel like, hey, we should probably move to management instead of just coding. So I think that uh, that indecisiveness of we should which what I should go for is just part of human nature. I would say there's nothing wrong with it. I think a lot of us come into at least computer science and IT because we hear that there's a you'll get make big money here, and that is entirely true. We do make big money here, but yeah, unless you have the passion to drive you towards it, you would find yourself not making much different than people who are making in other sectors. Like, sure, you go for TCS, you'll be making 360 k, 360,000, whatever. I would say mechanical engineers also kind of make the same, unless you are like distinguishedly very different than other in your group. In which case, yeah, I guess you can go for it. Talking about things like gate, I don't think that will help you. Adding a badge of IIT or any big college, just and you think bigger companies would come in the placement. So like if you graduate from MIT as MTech, you might get Amazon in your campus placement. But if the thing that like if you're not able to interview, if you don't have the fundamental skill to solve the problems, it wouldn't matter if you did it for MIT, IIT, or wherever. So you will also see a lot of people who are like going outside the country, uh, and most of them probably have already returned back to the country because you're graduating from big college. That's fine, but if you never learn to do problem solving, which is very important in computer science or computer engineering, uh, you're not going to be able to make much of it. So I would say, at least if you're in first 4 years, if you get the first job, try to see if you fit well into a job. I would personally not dive into what do you call gate exams. Government exams, I don't know. Like I wouldn't comment on it. Like if that's something that you're striving for, feel free to go for it. But gate is something I feel what people do in pursuit of better career in IT, which is definitely not true.
Other question I would like to ask is people or the students think that if you, for example, if you take the teachers as an example, so as a fresher we'll get the 3.6 lpa per annum.
Yeah.
So students right from the first year they think that when they join in the college who have more reputation, they'll first only think that they'll crack the Amazon 50 lakhs package, Microsoft 50 lakhs package. So I need to ask you that does salary define a person as a fresher?
Definitely not. So I know people who join like big companies right from the get go, and they're at certain point in salary in their life. And I know people who have like joined smaller companies or people who joined TCS and later like they were lucky enough to be put on projects which were good enough that they could claim higher salary when they did interview with Fang. So uh, it's very project dependent. I think it's more than company, it's what you do that defines you. Uh, I think there are people who have worked 2 years in. So personally, from my friend list, there are people who worked 2 years in Amazon and now they're senior in Microsoft, and there are people who worked 3 years in Amazon and they're not senior in here. They're like maybe mid level. The fact being that the person who worked 2 years apparently worked on a better project even from being Amazon. So that kind of things, the projects that you work on, define your career path way more than like. What this would do. So at any point, if you feel like the project that you're working on is not good enough for a career, well, now you're in the company, you can't do much, but I would try to like look for better opportunities or better company, even if it's not better pay grade. Well, 3.6 is bare minimum. You can't be making worse than that if you're moving to startups. But I would try to look for companies which offer better career growth than salary growth. Because once you have enough experience, like you never know where you're gonna go. Like even if you look at the AI engineers who are at OpenAI, like a few years ago, they were just researchers. Like they were just not even making much more than minimum wage here because as a PhD student, you don't really make much. But once they made it through, like once there were enough papers published, now they're fighting for millions between Meta and OpenAI. So I'm not going to say you're going to make millions, but I would say like key takeaway is like try to learn as much you can, and learning at least in first 5 years, your learning is going to define your career way more than your salary will do. So I would give my example, like in Stratbeans, before I left India, I was making 21 or 22, something around that, just in cash, like no stocks. If you look at the salary breakdown for people in Amazon or Microsoft, when they claim 30, 40, 50 LPA, it's not all of it. So probably it would be like when they say 40 LPA, it would be like 12 LPA base salary and rest is just stocks. So, and the stocks are vested over 4 years. So every year they get one by fourth quarter of it. So I wouldn't be totally mesmerized by that salary. If you're making 12 or LPA, you're getting as much as them in hand. The stocks are like coming later. So 21 LPA, and now that I'm here, I am more of a mid-level engineer. I technically, with 3 years of experience, I could have aimed for a more senior roles. I should have been able to technically senior position, but the work that I did at Stratbeans doesn't really align with the tech or kind of stuff that we're dealing with here right now. So I'm not really blaming it. The Stradwins helped me make enough money to be able to go for masters. So yeah, depending on point of career, it might change. But the most important thing is that you keep learning, and yeah, you can probably go for higher salary if you learn enough later down the line.
As you
Yep.
said before, that I've seen your LinkedIn experience that you have mentioned that in the Stratbins you have worked first full stack web development and then iOS developer and then
Yep.
worked on LMS and present
Mm.
working as a software engineer at Microsoft, of course. So
Yep.
how did you manage the tech stack shift? Like the technology is different. So
Oh,
how did you gain the experience from the different technologies and how did that help you in your career?
I see. Well, it's not really. I think once you. That's what I meant by focusing on fundamentals. Once you're pretty good with any language, I think like you can practically pick up any other language within a week, because the primary constructs in any language remains pretty much the same, like if else, for loop, main, function definition, calling them. The overall logical flow of code remains the same. It's just how we define it. Instead of var, you probably say int, or maybe static int, or maybe integer. Like that kind of smaller things change, but the flow of things, logic, etc., remains the same. So I never thought that shifting. The only thing is, like, in the first few weeks, the shift would feel like, okay, you probably might type something that you would do in the older language. So that was normal, but obviously you get errors for it. You get an instant feedback that, hey, this is not right. Okay, so I was like, oh sure, I was supposed to do it like this. So I think once you're good at any particular language, I prefer. I mean, obviously you guys started with C as well, if I'm right. That's actually a very good language to start with, because it lays out all the fundamentals. Because other languages kind of abstract away some of the more fundamental things that you deal with, like memory management and stuff like that. I think starting with C really helps with that, especially if you're thinking about big tech. You'd be surprised. We don't use JavaScript. Like, if you're really working on core of big tech, you're probably going to write code in C, C++, or Go or Rust. All of them are very low level languages which deal with memory and stuff like that. So if you want to go with Python, then yeah, you'd be working on more higher level stuff, but not on like the core engineering tech.
Personally ask this question because my projects or my internships are fully related. Like I'm more interested in doing the full stack web development. So I
Mm,
got a question that if I apply a role or if the campus placement select me for a role, so they
yeah,
wouldn't be saying that you are eligible for full stack. So they'll be randomly putting on any position. So
yeah,
I got
correct.
to doubt that if I'm personally addictive to the full stack, like I
Mm,
love creating UI designs or the all the websites. So
mm,
if I was like randomly put on a position that I couldn't do, for example
yeah,
AI/ML, so I
yeah,
don't have a knowledge on machine learning. So I got a question that how do I manage if there is a technology shift? So this
yeah.
your answer made me helpful. Thank you for that.
Oh yeah, fair. Like, even if it's a technology shift, like, before I joined Stratpings, I was primarily interested in AI and ML. That was my primary role as an intern at Franklin Templeton, and I was definitely not interested in full stack engineering. But after working for a year, I started liking it. So I would, because you're still pretty early in your career, don't make an idea about what you might like or might not like, because after working for a while, you might start to like something and hate something. I would say at least give it a year. But if you really have very strong ideas that you don't like it, I would say apply on your own outside college boundaries for different startups or stuff like that.
Yeah, as of now, as we discussed, that there are many domains right now,
Mm,
the AML, full stack, AI, cyber security, or present DevOps is getting in the trend, the CD pipelines. So, which
mhm.
domain would you suggest to the juniors to go into the domain? Like, what is the trending right
Well, there isn't something particularly trending right now as such, because like there used to be something called trends back then where like engineers were very specialized. Right now there are a lot more engineers who are ready to do anything. So the idea of having a specialization or a trend has changed. Like, right now, companies are just hiring people who they feel like they have vacancy for. So I would say right now there is no such trend. We used to believe that AI is a trend back when we were graduating. It only became a reality that most of the people who say AI were just working on Excel sheets or just writing, making PowerPoint presentation, data analysis. They were not really writing code in Python training models. So yeah, I would say full stack is still pretty much needed everywhere, because we are back in India. There are very few companies who are working on core tech outside the FANG. So 90% of the internet or companies in India are still dominated by full stack or by mobile app development. at least that's my idea of how India was back in 23. It could have changed, but yeah, I would say full stack. Even here, I see like a lot more positions for full stack or back end or front end developer specifically. But yeah, I wouldn't say there's any trend toward AML in general.
Thinking back, I'm happy that you said because selfishly thinking, I'm also a full stack website. So thank you for
Mhm.
pointing this. And yeah, of course, we have discussed that the journey from the college and strat bins. So the next thing that I want to ask you is, you have quit the job of strat bins or you joined the MS. So I got a question that in the 2020, like it's a time of the COVID, so the recession attacked the every fresher, every software engineer. So uh, which the day that what made you confident to quit the job and to do the masters in the abroad?
Well, I've always been meaning to go out of the country. Back then, due to financial constraints, I decided to work on startup and collect money so I could sponsor my own master's education. And after a while, I felt like this was enough. And at a point, I felt like because I told you, like I wasn't really much into full stack development. And even if I wanted to change careers, the only way in India to change careers would be like I take much lower salary. Like going from 21, I would probably have to go to like 8 or 7 if I wanted to change the vertical in which I'm trying to make career, which would be a huge fall. And it would take 3 or 4 more years that I come back to the same salary in the field that I like. So I thought, okay, if I'm gonna go for a fresh start, I would might as well start with a bigger salary. So or and somewhere outside because I felt like at least the culture in India when it comes to work is very obsessive and very I wouldn't say yeah I would say it's a bit toxic. I would definitely say it's a bit toxic. Maybe you get into the company which are you're pretty lucky with and you might not have the same experiences as me, but there's always this thing for working late, the glorification of working late and glorification of working overtime that is more cultural because that has been steeped into us right from the uh, schooling in our undergrad. That's what we see, like people who put in more hours. It doesn't matter even if you spend more quality work are rewarded more. So I just wanted to take a cut from it and to try other countries. So I thought I'm pretty confident in my coding skill. It wouldn't matter which country I go to. I was pretty sure that I get a job. So only thing I was wanted to do was like, hey, where in the world where I can pick a university and there are good tech market and they speak English. I was definitely not going for any country which doesn't speak English as their primary language. Uh, yeah, that was the rough gist.
So that was inspiring, of course. And the shift from the India to abroad, there's a lot of difference you could observe in the
Hmm.
professional or personal journey. So, in the coming to the professional journey, what changes did you observe working in the India and doing the MS in the masters in the abroad?
Well, I mean, work and masters. I don't know if that is you can directly compare, but I would just give you an aspect of how like doing masters here is like, or anywhere. It doesn't matter. Like even if the masters in USA, Canada, Australia, you have to learn to live on your own. Like cook your own food, uh, clean, work part time. Like I see a lot of people who came with glimmering hopes, like are who are like now making enough, trying to like work overtime so that they can make enough money so they can go back to India at least for a month. Like because we grew up in kind of a privilege where food is delivered to our doorsteps in a matter of minutes. And here, if you want like to actually get restaurant food, you have to go to a restaurant and pay over a lot of huge price. And that and when you combine it the fact that you're working part-time here, like almost everyone is working part-time. Sorry, almost everyone is working part-time. Without part-time you wouldn't even be able to survive. I don't know, unless you're a super rich millionaire or something. So working part-time for some it might feel a bit dehumanizing, like because we're not used to working on things like grocery stores or petrol pump and stuff like that. The harsher reality is you have to, and you're probably spending 20 to 40 hours so that you can make enough to cover your rent and have enough to make groceries, and then you have to make time for college assignments. Then at that point you realize that the assignments and the stuff we did back in India was actually a breeze. Our parents made it much more easier for us. Like, but surviving on your own, you probably wouldn't even get enough time to talk to friends because it's part time. Come home, cook. Cooking it alone takes 2 3 hours. Then you clean and then you sleep. And on weekends, the only thing you want to do is sleep because you've been so worked during the weekdays, going college and part time. So yeah, that is the more harsher reality of going for masters. Like like don't just pick up the people who have like succeeded. You can look at the people who are still looking for jobs outside the country. They would tell this a story much better than I do.
Hear people saying that MS, the people who do MS will definitely succeed in life. They'll earn more money, but
No.
the backstory of the every MS person knows how tough it is to handle the part time or the academics or the projects to work on. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was inspiring. And what did you learn from your MS journey?
Oh well, I think I kind of got to relive my student days, which I didn't get to do much during my undergrad. As I said, I was pretty much locked in for studies. So whatever I felt that I was lacking for my undergrad and my working years, I tried to like do more. I tried to go out more. I tried to make more friends. So I think that aspect for me was much more important. But if you're just talking specifically learning, I think the culture here is or anywhere outside is something one should strive to learn. Like people are very diligent here, like outside the country. Uh, they follow rules pretty properly, like cleaning houses, putting bins in proper places. Like there are certain things that you would pick up once you're outside the country. I cannot go and usually list one by one, but that the culture and what else can I say? Just from pure learning point of view, even how they do learning itself, like back in our colleges, we still do assignments to see get grades. Here, it is purely assignment driven. There's no exams here per se, but the assignments here are like very. How should I put it? They're just pure code. Like you have to do it on your own. That like they probably might ask you to like in the course that I took, they asked us to make a movie, and that's the thing. Like it's a movie in Unreal Engine, like in I don't know if you guys are familiar with Unreal Engine or Unity. But yeah, they try. The one of the final assignment was to make movie in it, and there's no way you can copy someone else's assignment there because movie's movie. You're seeing it right in front, so you have to make your own thing, or it's very easy to catch things like that. So all our assignments were like that. Like it was just doing something. You had to go out and do it. It was not writing something on paper and submitting it for sake of it. I think that mode of learning gets in way more into the subject matter than just rote learning that we are more accustomed to. So yeah, I would say that that kind of things felt like way better here than they were back in India.
In India, we have, as Indian families, we have a lot of comparison for the other students. Like the parents compare the students with the other students who earn
Yeah,
more, or like the other son is in Microsoft, Amazon, so they compare. So student
yeah.
life is the student life when we are in BTech, we suffer a lot. So we
Mm.
self doubt a lot. So we have many doubts regarding the career. So, what would you tell to the students who are currently working very hard for their career? So, what motivation did you like? Did you gain from your experience?
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Like, I don't think my parents are magically much more different than anyone else's. They're pretty much same. If someone scores even one score higher than me, they're like, "How did he score 39 out of 40 and you got 38?" So that sort of comparison is something we grew up on. I think if you're Indian, that is part of the culture, that extreme comparison from everyone else. And I think at that point, it just comes to the fact that it's more of a social posturing for parents themselves than they're focused on your own well-being. So at some point you have to make a decision that if you're living for making yourself look good in front of other people, or just living for your own personal values. So I would say, like, don't think much about the comparison. Some people might start out to earn more salary than you. Later down the line, you might earn more salary than them. I feel like that kind of thing always changes. So don't, I would say, not to compare. If you feel like you're working on something good, just focus on that. I know it can be very pressuring when your parents are constantly comparing you with cousins, with your friends, and the one guy who made it into one big company. But I was a guy who was made into a company which no one knew, and now I'm in Microsoft. I wouldn't even call being in Microsoft an accomplishment, and I shouldn't. And I would say being into any big FANG itself is not an accomplishment. It's just you're a pawn for another big company. There's no big difference. Of course, you're earning more, but besides that, what exactly is the glory in it? Besides making more money in there, so I think it is more important that you like what you do, and the only justification you need is from yourself that, hey, I like my job and I would just be here than in some big company. Even if other people say, hey, it's they are
I
more.
think this will change the mindsets of many students. Thank you for
Mhm.
sharing. And of course, back in the India days, I don't know what you faced, but going to the MS journey, interacting with the students, like you'll more have the Americans. You'll be facing different people from different countries. So
Yeah,
here the communication skills plays a very important role in doing
yeah,
the MS or in interviews, of course.
yeah.
So, what would you tell to the students in the era of soft skills? Like many people develop the coding skills, interview skills, mock interviews, whatever. But the communication skills plays the important role. So, the leadership qualities or the communication skills. What is the opinion of yours?
Yeah, I would say I would pretty much agree there. Like communication skills are pretty important. Like one thing that you see when you move to like different country for education is whenever, as soon as you enter a class where everyone is there, you will see that Indian people and Chinese people form their own groups, and they're way more detached from other people. And that's because there's a comfort in talking to people who we are more familiar with our own language, and we just stick to being with them for the entire year, and we don't even know like what other people are in the classes. I think it is very important that you talk to people across the culture, even if it feels very intimidating. But at the end of the day, they're still people, and that is very true. The fact that you would be judged on your soft skills, and there's definitely a bias for people who can articulate better in interviews, and I think that would be one of the primary reason if you get selected or not, when two people who are on the same level of coding skills, if the manager had to make a decision on who I want to work with, so obviously the person with a better personality or better articulation skills, better to soft skills, is the one he would prefer. So working on it, I'm not sure how we're gonna do it. I would think the only way is just to throw yourself into talking to more people, talking to other people from other countries, improve your English, and I don't think there's any courses for it. I think you just got to take the first step for it and just keep doing it till you get better at it.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Until now, we've discussed the college days, start brains, MS journey. Here comes
Mhm.
the important phase that Microsoft.
Mhm.
So, after stepping out of the MS, so what is the thought, or do you have? I always wanted to ask you that. Since from the first year of the college, do you have any particular thought that you want to mandatory do the MS, or it's just you're just going with the flow?
Oh no, it is definitely go with the flow. I probably never wanted to go MS in the first place. The only reason I did want to do MS later down the line was because I wanted to do a shift in career, and I was kind of done with the work culture that we have inbred in India. Like I was not really particularly a fan of it, and I don't know if it's India. I shouldn't probably generalize. Maybe some people had better working experience here and there, but especially in where I worked, I probably had idea that, and from what my friends told me like how their work was like, I just got a rough idea that maybe this is not where I want to work. I want to be able to work in a place where I can just call it quits after 5 p.m. And if I want to work past 5 p.m., it should be out of my own will, not because my manager or someone told me to. So yeah, that that's my primary driver.
Stepping out of the MS from the college, so what thought you did you like have? Was the Microsoft a dream company or just a random company that you applied and you achieved for?
Well, here Microsoft. Okay, here in Dublin, the only big companies are Microsoft and Amazon. There is the rest of the companies. There is Meta. There is Google, but they hire for positions that I'm not interested in. They hire for SREs, which is like site reliability engineers, which are who are more focused on the hardware aspect of it. There's also Apple, which is more focused on the testing aspect of it and chip production, which is not my primary interest as well. I wanted to work more on software side of the things. So the only two options I was left with was Amazon and Microsoft. And one thing you'd realize is like Amazon is known for its very workaholic culture, let's say. Like people there, I think half my team here in Microsoft are just ex Amazonians who just hated working there, and now they're just working here. And yeah, sort of all the options just by eliminating every other options, I was just left with Microsoft. So that's was my reason for selecting Microsoft. Nothing specific in general. If there are, unlike India, like if you go to countries like which is not USA, unlike India, they don't have a huge spectrum of companies who are working on different tech. I think in that manner of speaking, India is way more vibrant when it comes to tech. Like people are working on different sort of techs. There's so many other companies, but when you move abroad, except USA, the number of options you have are very limited. So yeah, that's one key driver I would say.
How was the life at Microsoft?
It's pretty good. I would say like it changes from like team to team, manager to manager. I would say mine is pretty good. I don't want you to use it as example. So at least for me, I my manager's in USA. He's not here in Ireland, and we just do meeting once a week on 5 p.m. once or twice a week at 5 p.m. So before that, nothing about what I do and how I do is actually regulated or even monitored. I sometimes wake up at 12. I used to wake up pretty late, and then I start work at around 2 or 3 after I was done cooking, and I would work till 7 or whatever. So everything was like as long as you got work done, no one personally cared, like what time you wake up at or what time you join work. But at the same time, I know who are there are literally people in the other team which are who are doing like every morning they have a meet like a stand up meeting that is like you have to get you have to be at the office. I don't even didn't even used to go to office, but for them they have to go to office at 9 a.m. be there, attend the daily stand up which is conducted daily. And yeah, there's also a team within Microsoft. Like so experience could be varying depending on what kind of manager you have, but overarching experience is pretty great because you get good food within Microsoft. And regardless of manager, I think for most of the people, they get to go home at 5 p.m. Some I know are stressed a bit here and there, but in general, experience is pretty good here.
Microsoft is a dream company for many students.
Yeah.
So right from people applying from since first year to the fourth year, they Microsoft, Amazon, all these farm companies we call the product based companies is a dream to many. So what would you tell to the students to crack such product companies? What is the backstory that they have to work on?
So coding, I think it's a straight getaway. Like you had to be that's the only skill that you would be just done besides soft skills. So I would say I think many people I've heard many times that hey, I did really well at the interviews. I solved all the problems and still I was rejected. I feel like I think all the companies have their core leadership principles, and you need to be somehow be able to demonstrate these principles in your conversations. Like otherwise, that if you don't do it, it doesn't eliminate you, But if there's a person who does exude those priorities, they would prefer him over you. There's also been times where like people who has better programming ability have not been chosen because the other person was better at soft skills, because that kind of things, like programming in general is very teachable. Is what I felt even during when I was hiring people for strat beans. I think the personality is something that is formed over a lot of years, and if I feel like I that's not the kind of person I wanted to work with, I would probably choose someone who's less skilled, but give me a month and I would make him good enough to be able to perform. And that's a very important takeaway. And if you're working applying from India, I think that's even a bigger challenge is the population. Uh, Many times, or most of the times, you might not even hear back from Microsoft because the volume of application that Microsoft receives, which is a sad thing. Like that shouldn't put you down. Many of yours, you are probably skilled enough that you can crack Microsoft, but given that there's so many people who are applying, you might not get a opportunity to do that. But somewhere down the line, let's say 2 or 3 years later, when you have enough experience, then it kind of thins out, like the number of people applying at that experience level. Then you probably might have better chance. You might have heard a lot of people who went from TCS to Amazon or TCS to Microsoft after spending 2 3 years. So a few good projects and few years down your belt, I think you can move to any big companies that you're dreaming of. The more important thing is you just focus on learning. And I wouldn't be personally much disappointed if I don't make it to Fang in my first try. You can always make it down there later.
For any student or for any fresher, the three important things are DSA right now, because
Mm.
every company is present looking for a DSA
Yeah.
coding persons,
Yeah.
and especially for product based companies. So
Yeah.
DSA, and the second one will be the projects, which our students are not even concentrating right now, because whatever the faculty give or whatever the academics they have, they're only concentrating on it, and they're just giving to the AI tools ChatGPT, as we know. So
Mm.
the third thing is of course the resume.
Yeah.
So, what the suggestions do you give as a person right now? You're as a succeeded person in the Microsoft. What are the three suggestions that you give for the DSA projects as well and the resume to those students?
Well, when it comes to DSA, I would say definitely finish solving NEET Code 150. Solve all the 150 problems in there before you expand out to solve more problems, because I feel like they cover all the core concepts. And like how in exams, like you before exams you learn certain problems in mathematics, and then in exam it's a different question, but it's just like change it, like one of the questions that you faced before, but there's just a bit of twist to it. Like you can still solve it. Just because it's a different problem, it's not like you're just giving up on the problem. In maths, for example, let's say M1, you probably might have seen a problem which you never solved during your assignments or something. And that's what DSA is like. Once you know the core principles or core question types, you can probably extrapolate it to solve any other problems. So first thing that I would get off my list is to solve all the 150 questions in NEET code. And once I'm done with that, for projects, yeah, I think it might be very difficult for you to make enough time to work on a really quality project unless you're trying to work outside of your college hours. That's something. And unless you have a really great idea, I'm not really sure what you would be working on, because you probably already have a final year project that you want to work on if you're in your fourth year or something. So, but your fourth year should be substantially free when we compare to the rest of the years. So if you think you have enough time, I would say try to pick up a good problem and make sure it's not just like a local host website running. Yeah, it if you can prove that you can work with a lot of tech, that you can deploy it with Docker containers, you have some monitoring systems, etc., which is supporting all this entire infra, that would show much better skill than just making a website in HTML and CSS and strapping React on it with some MongoDB and Node.js backend. That is, many people can do it, but how many people can deploy it and get it running and publicly available? Probably not many. So that's way more impressive.
Suggestion that I would ask is a resume and portfolio, right?
Uh, Portfolio, I don't. I don't personally have any experience with portfolio. Not that we never had to work on portfolio per se. As for resume, the only thing I suggest, even to my friends, is to use Word because a lot of the companies use very outdated ATS. As you know, ATS is the thing which is automatically rejects or accepts your resume for further processing. So if you're not going to make past ATS, a real human reviewer is not even going to see your resume. So for that, I use Word because Word is universally parsable by all the ATS. PDF and certain designs of resume do not really, the ATS fails at it. Like it might not be able to pick certain words or terminology and good points about you. So always go with Word. Try to keep it one pager. I've seen like a lot of people who have two-page resume or three. If you're just starting out, there's no reason for you to have two-page worth of resume. People are not even going to read all of it. The only thing they probably care about is like that you did graduate from one or two colleges, like did your bachelor's, master's, that you have some experience with the things that you're working on. You have listed out all the skills that you're good at. Have one or two projects. Extracurricular, feel free to put it there. But yeah, if it's not fitting in the page, don't go overboard on that. So yeah, try to keep it very small, tidy as you can.
So, yeah, that would be very helpful. So, what would be a company if it is other than Microsoft?
Mm.
That would be
Well,
good.
here, sadly, I don't have any options. But if I was to move into any other countries, I would either move to Zurich and I would go for Google. Amazon is a company that I would never work for. Uh, I might work for if they offer good enough money. Then I'm ready to slave away 1 or 2 years of my life. But otherwise, I would probably go for Google. And what else? There's Pinterest. I think there's Pinterest here. I think that might be a good company to work for. And there's HubSpot. I've heard good things about it. The pay package is nice. So I cannot speak about the Indian demographic or the companies there. But those are at least my options available closer to me. The companies that it's basically always try to see if they can still sustain my work life balance. That's the one reason I straight right rejected Amazon because they have like 100% work from office policy. That's something recently I've been going to office every day, but I wouldn't want that to be enforced on me. So that's something I'm very stringent about, and that's something I don't want to compromise on. So that's Amazon is probably out of the play. But yeah, it's up to you. Like Amazon pays the most, like it pays a lot of money when you compare to Microsoft. So yeah, if in your early years, if you're ready to, make some big money before you chill out later, I would say definitely you can go for Amazon as well.
Uh, Another question I want to ask is people who want to pursue the masters, would they
Mhm.
want to work first in the any company or rather
Uh,
they go to the direct MS after the BTech? What would you suggest?
I think it's a very generally accepted, how to say, feeling across all the people who I've met is there are people who had experience and that they're glad that they had experience, and there are people who didn't have any experience and they're very disappointed in the fact that it is so difficult to get a job. So it's been almost more than a year since I'm here after graduation, and people are having tough time, especially people who had no experience. Everyone who had even at least 2 years of experience, I know, has already gotten a job. But other people, they are still working part times, and the only regret I hear from them is the fact that they didn't work in India before they moved to do masters. So I think that's a globally accepted feeling that they had. So I would say if you're moving to masters, at least get 2 years of experience and good experience. That's something that can get you a job. Like experience in like big MNCs like TCS, Infosys might not help if it's something very generic project. But if those companies do have good projects, so if you're lucky enough to be in that, then sure you can use that to talk for yourself. But yeah, it is very important that you have few years of experience before you move to abroad. Don't directly go to masters. I don't know how many people you've talked to yet, but uh, that's definitely a very fast way to dig your own grave.
Day in your life in a Microsoft.
Okay, so I would try
Just
to paint an average. Yeah, yeah, I get it. So I mean, uh, so I will just paint my day, and it's not in no way reflective of other people's day because I know, as I mentioned earlier, they come up at 9, etc. At least for me, it's I usually wake up at 10, and then I get ready and go to office. I reach there by 11, and if possible, I try to grab breakfast, or if not, I just skip it, and we have lunch until 30. In between, I just try to see whatever the items that I have to deal with today. I just make a note of it, put them on my calendar, check it if there's any meetings that are coming up, and go for lunch 12:30, and back in the desk by 1:30, and then I probably work on stuff that are assigned to me. So there's this liberty that is allowed to me by my manager that our sprints are monthly; they're not weekly. So we keep monthly goal for ourselves that this month I will do these things, and because of that I can go really hard on like one entire week and chill out for the rest. So the distribution of task is very much up to me. I can probably work something on weekend and then chill out on weekdays. So because of that, on average most of my days look pretty good because all of them are compressed onto either the end before the deadline or very early in the month after we do the sprint planning. But yeah, it's like 3 to 4 hours of work. Then I probably go to gym, and after gym, we probably go for smoothies with my friends, with my work colleagues, and sometimes we go for hiking after work if time permits, if more people are available. And there's like a lot of clubs in Microsoft. There's like gaming club. There's people who play badminton, pool, tabletop, card games. So if there's any event, usually there is after 6 p.m., I tend to attend it 6 to 8. And if there's anything left over, because a lot of my work does overlap with USA team, so if there's anything that they need from me, or if there's something I need from them, I usually have work maybe if there's I work like 10 to 11 or 10 to 12, just because they come online in 5 p.m. in my time zone, which is when I leave work. So those 2 hours at late night are the only time we get to overlap. So if there's anything needed, otherwise I just make dinner and go to sleep.
The another perspective that our student need to have is the networking.
Hmm.
So other than the skills, other than the communication skills, soft skills, what we spoke. So networking is very important when we go on our work and work structure. So being a workaholic is not completely all right, or being a not doing work is not good, right? So what do you say about networking? How a student should develop a networking?
Well, networking is just what I will be doing right now. Like, you find people who are in a position in life where you want to be. You send them LinkedIn request. You send them message. Most likely, you might not hear back from all of them. That's a very fundamental phenomenon. Like because they are busy with their lives. Some might make time. Some might not make time. But that's basically networking. Like you have them on your LinkedIn and they're happy enough to refer you. And there is an incentive for people to refer you because when you refer someone and they actually get selected, the person who referred you makes money. Like here, for every successful referral, I make 2,500. That is like 2,50,000 in India. So that's a huge amount for a successful referral. So people in any company are glad to refer you. So if you're the only thing is they don't know if you're skilled enough for it, or maybe they're too lazy. But I would say if you see someone who's in a company that you want to work for, always shoot them a message. They would probably if they think that you can make it, they would definitely refer you. It's free money. No one is gonna leave that out on the table. So yeah, for me, networking is just about making enough connections in a company that I might want to work in future. So it's just LinkedIn, and other things are just if my colleague if has worked in a company before where I am interested, I would try to ask them to meet with one of the colleagues who are still working there. That way, I can make connections. So It is a lot more verbal and social than it is just just sending clicks. So yeah, that's something people who are social butterflies might feel more easy dealing with this kind of stuff. But yep, that's the general gist of it.
Yeah. So, do you have any regret in college life or from the company or the MS that if I would work on this particular technology that present I would be in a great position, or do you have any regret regarding your professional journey?
In terms of professional journey, sure, why not? Like, I think I could have. I should have like moved to uh, either big tech or better technology earlier in my career than now in Microsoft because I could have gotten a higher position, as I told before. The only reason I was working still full stack, knowing that I don't want to work in full stack later down the line, was because the money was good. But those were like golden handcuffs. Like you are too I don't know how to say it, because that's the sort of money you probably don't want to walk away from. So you're like, why does it matter what I'm working on? But at some point, if you're too frustrated by work, you have to accept that you're going to get a pay cut or a level cut. If you're a senior engineer, you have to step down to lower engineer. And there are people who I'm working with who are like uh, 40, 50-year old who are even in lower, what do you call, lower position in the career path in Microsoft, because before that they were doing a lot of stuff. Maybe the person I know I'm talking about was a football coach. He just picked up programming when he was in his 35s, and now he's working here. So he doesn't have much experience, but still, that's the path he chose. So yeah, I would say tech. That's why I keep saying the technology that you're working is way more important, unless you do want it, because there are positions in Microsoft for full stack development. I could have easily taken that and be senior there, but I wanted to work in this sort of technology, so I had to take a position cut. And that is something, if you have to be ready to walk away with, if that's the kind of work you want to do in future. Yeah.
I was asked because your regret thought could be helpful to someone who are in need. So that's
Yeah.
it. And lastly, I want to ask you a question that starting from the Kendriya Vidyalaya and going to the GVP college and then going to the Stratbins, of course, doing the MS Microsoft, your journey has ups and downs. You faced many struggles to the position who as you are now. So what is the experience or what is the one word that you tell to the students?
Mm, well, that's a lot of things to surmise into one line. I would just say, I didn't know if everyone is like has the same goals as me, but learn as much as you can and always be open to, like, okay, even more than learning, I think it's way more important. Learning will come and go. Like, I think social aspect of life is way more important than career. Is what I would say. Do work at career, work religiously at career, but don't ignore your social life and family and friends. That's way more important than, yeah, just numbers and salaries.
Yeah, that was good. And now at last, just 2 minutes of just yeah, that's keeping apart from all of this. Just will
Mhm.
play just a rapid fire.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, you can just be formal that you could say whatever that you get into your mind that
over.
favorite programming language,
Python,
debugging or building from scratch.
building from scratch.
What motivates you every day?
Breakfast.
That was fun. And what was the one interview question you'll never forget?
And Queen's problem.
So, what is your dream company other than Microsoft as a student?
As student, Amazon.
So, what is the one domain student should explore more?
On the mission, sorry. I would say systems programming, operating system.
Okay. So, What is the one mistake during placements to be avoided?
Don't piss off the placement officer.
So, office desk or work from home?
Now I would say work from office. I used to be like till like 20 days ago, you would have asked me, I would say work from home, but now it's work from office.
So, what is the favorite thing about Dublin?
Sorry?
Favorite thing about Dublin, living in Ireland?
Oh, yeah. I would say just the lower population density and cleanliness of everything.
So, what is the favorite memory of GVP?
Oh, GVP. I think I already answered that. That is the building that was there. Yeah.
So, Android or iOS?
Okay, that's a bit controversial. I would say Android. But I
Mac or
am right
Windows?
now using iOS, by the way, so it's a bit weird coming from me, hypocritical. But right now I'm on iPhone. But yeah, yeah.
Mac or Windows?
Mac.
Okay.
It's very weird because we make Windows, but Macs are just better. Not gonna lie.
Okay, coming to the cloud technology, AWS or Azure or GCP?
AWS is way better.
Coding solo or team collaboration?
Uh, I would say team collaboration if team is good enough, which is very often not the case. But yeah, you it keeps you engaged. Team collaboration.
So that was the rapid fire sound, rapid
Mhm.
fire, sir. So thank you for having us today. So present, we like to ask the students that if they're having any queries to ask you or not.
Sure.
So let me, students, if you have any doubts regarding this session or if you want to ask any career insights regarding your career, you can freely ask because there is no faculty involved. So you can just ask them. I think someone messaged. Let me ask. So, hearing your journey from GVP student to a Microsoft engineer was truly inspiring. I'm a third year EC student with a long lasting interest in computer science, but I'm unable to opt for it due to some personal reasons. And now I'm considering a shift toward software
Mhm.
engineering, sorry. Is it possible for someone from non-CSC background to become a professional software engineer? I would be grateful for any guidance.
Oh, definitely. It's like many people in higher position here in Microsoft or in other places, Amazon, Google, have not initially started out with computer science or software engineering or anything remotely close to it. As I said, I literally give an example. The guy who was 35-year-old or 40-year-old, he was a football coach before he joined here. So if nothing's stopping him, there should be nothing stopping you. If you're interested, I would say start your career somewhere, pick up languages, pick up frameworks, pick up any point of interest that you have in programming. And from there, you can probably go anywhere. Your current education doesn't really define your future path. I think I get the idea because that's what the colleges paint you to be like. Hey, you're probably going in this path, but trust me. Besides the paper that it grants you, everything going forward into your career is just in your hands.
Students, you can ask in any questions you have regarding your career.
Good evening, sir. I am Ashishwini, currently pursuing my BTech fourth year. Recently, the Copilot have launched a feature that which can build a full stack app with a single prompt. How would it affect the current full stack developers or who are aiming to become a full stack developer in the future? What are your thoughts on it?
So yeah, GitHub Copilot and Copilot in general is changed a lot of landscape. It's not just for you guys; it's the same for us too. So I think what's more important is like rather than just using GitHub Copilot to give one prompt, it is way more important that you learn full stack. For example, like I don't know if you guys are much on Twitter or things like that, but you would often hear people who build with one click. Uh, they have very unsecure. backends, data getting leaked, and stuff like that. Maybe their authentication system fails. They're able to log in as administrator because those people lack fundamental understanding of website. They just think of a website as just the front end, just be a clicking button. They don't think about everything that goes behind, like the tables that we are keeping, the back end, all the authentication mechanisms that we have in place. So these are very important things for you to learn, and that will make you better prompt engineer as well. So I think you should use GitHub Copilot to learn, not just learn, to implement things which you could have, but faster. But if it comes up with something that you're not familiar with or something new, I would say learn from it, or I would say prompt it to understand why it did certain decision, why did it take certain decision that it did, and try to learn that. So next time it goes against it, you can ask it, hey, why did you not do it like that? So that's way more important than just asking, just giving it one prompt and creating a website. Like, yeah.
This one is a personal question for you. In your
Mhm.
day-to-day work life, do you use or are you quite depend on AI tools or you code from
Uh,
scratch?
I think I stopped coding from scratch like lot of months ago. We just use GitHub Copilot. At least I use GitHub Copilot a lot. So I use it to generate initial scaffolding and a lot of the things that I work with. But if it makes any mistakes, I just go manually fix it because it takes some time to generate all the answer, and I'm too impatient to wait for it to do that. So if it gets me 90% of the code right and 10% is right, I would just personally go in and fix the 10% because I have enough understanding of the language to be able to do that. But for people who do not have a solid understanding, that 10% could be the reason that your system is breaking. So that's the reason why you should still keep learning, even if there's GitHub Copilot.
If we are able to know that, can you brief something what you're currently working on? If
Uh, I mean, I probably cannot go into full details, but I could give you a high level gist. So we've been working on trying to improve the time it takes for cache to be purged or cache to be deleted. Right now, it takes 5 to 10 minutes. We were trying to bring it down to 5 to 10 seconds. Oh no, not even 5 to 10, 1 to 2 seconds. And is the project the only thing that you wanted to learn, or what is exactly what that you wanted to learn out of it? Yes, Winnie. Yes, Winnie.
can you? I have just internet problem. Can you repeat it?
So, what exactly was the question again? Could you?
Can we know what you're currently working on?
Yeah, as I said, we were working on a solution to improve our cache deletion time from 5 to 10 minutes to a few seconds. That is the current project that I'm working on. I guess.
So if you really have any doubt, you can.
Yeah. Hi, sir. My name is Srivatsa. I just have two questions to ask. My first question is like back in India, like people who are doing MTech in IITs or NITs, they have a concept called placements. Like I heard that people who are pursuing masters in abroad, they don't have a concept of placements, and it is
Yeah.
open competition.
Yeah.
Can you like what is your point of view? Like, can you explain us in a small time?
Well, as you already know, as I said, like
And
there's
one, sorry to interrupt you. And who are people who are going to who have an idea to pursue masters in abroad? How they have to be ready or how they have to be prepared for that? Because
yes.
back in India, this placement concept is instilled in their mind and all.
Yeah, yeah, true. So, uh, outside India, there's no such thing as mass recruiter who would come and pick you up just because you got a graduation certificate. And everything is practically an open market. You're not just competing with graduates. You might some I've seen people who have like 5 to 6 years of experience and they're applying for grad roles, internships, and low level roles. So that is something that you should be aware of, that you would have to try on your own. The one thing that I would say, like that you should be able to or should do is like apply to 10 applications, 10 companies a day, and you're gonna see a lot of rejections. Even I saw a lot of rejections. Like I got two interviews. One was from IBM, another was Microsoft. But before I saw that, which was like probably in April, I've been applying since December, and all I seen was just rejection. So you have to, like, build your gut strong enough that you can apply daily and see the rejections daily for 4 or 5 months, 6 months, or maybe even for a year. You never know. So yeah, that's one thing that I say is very important. Like, keep applying, keep trying. I see a lot of people who did masters don't even apply. I mean, they have excuses that they work part time and they're cleaning. I would say, like, never forget where you're doing masters. You're here for getting a better job, not to work menial jobs, and that should be a top priority, even if you have to, like, wake up 1 hour late just for application. And besides the fact that you don't have the comfort of placement cells, it's pretty much same as if you were trying to for a good company in India. Like, you would probably have to create a good resume, have good DSA, and apply personally. So I think it's a good idea that or good skill that you pick up right from India if you can. Like, as I said before, I wouldn't jump into mastership right from the get go. So whatever years you spend in India, try to, like, apply for a lot of startup companies. Even when you're working for some big companies, try to interview just for improving your skills. So the same skills will be translatable when you go to a master's or abroad.
Thank you. So then my second question is, like you mentioned that we have to apply for this startups and gain experience before applying to masters, like gain at least 2 years of experience in the corporate.
Yeah.
So, like, there are two kinds of categories of students: one with corporate experience and one with research experience. Like in
Yeah.
your community college, while you're pursuing your masters, have you encountered any student who came to who secured that college with his or her research experience? Like before applying to the colleges, we all the students will have this ambitious list and applying list, ambitious colleges and all. So, like studying in a mediocre college in India, like everybody wants to gain experiences either in corporate or research and get into a good ambitious college which is better than the mediocre college for the brighter future. What is your point of view in it, and did you encounter anyone with a research experience at all?
So when you say research, what exactly do you mean? I mean, of course, like, there are people who have research.
What I mean is people who are doing as a junior research fellows in IITs or any research position, MS research, like for 1 year in NITs or IITs like that, or any research institutions back in India like Tata Research Institute in Bombay or something.
Well, I did have, like, there are a few people who just, I knew one who came from Baba Research Institute of Atomics, and I think there were two of them. And yeah, it is not irregular to see people who are coming from that background, and college itself would not distinguish that. Like, they would not discriminate based on that. In fact, I think if you have a research background, college might be even more inclined for to take you in, because for college they probably care more about academics than they care about your work background. So if you're just asking me from point of view of college, big prestigious colleges will take you, I would say that research experience is way more important than work or job experience. But if you're talking in terms of career, I think then research expert might not be that helpful.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions?
Let me know if anyone is interested to ask, you can ask. Yeah, I think there's no one to ask, sir.
That's all right.
So, yeah, concluding that this is my first session as leading a PR lead. So I'm very grateful for you for being so responsive to my messages or having your time with us. It is really, I feel very honored and hope this meeting finds successful. And your story from GVP's IT branch to the Microsoft is not just inspiring, but also a reminder that with the right mindset, consistent effort, and curiosity, great things are possible. So, on the behalf of the entire student community and faculty, we express our heartfelt gratitude. So, we hope this interaction becomes a stepping stone to many students to dream bigger and aim higher. So, we wish you a continued success and fulfillment in your professional and personal journey as well.
Thank
And
you.
we sincerely hope you'll stay connected with your alma mater and continue to inspire future batches just as you have inspired today. And yeah, thank you once again, and we wish you all the very best for your future endeavors.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
so you can leave the meeting.